Hey everybody, Scorpion here. So this is going to be, I guess, the starting point. If you want solar, this is going to be the video of my opinion, how you decide, I guess, where you're going or what you're getting, and that kind of thing. Because you have to know where you're going to be able to know what you want to purchase to get there. So if you're interested in kind of checking this out and walking with me, y'all stick around. All right, so my opinion. Some people start with their power usage, but you know what good is it to try to calculate your power usage if you're building something that you don't have any power usage for yet? Of course, you can kind of guess, what you're going to use according to your appliances and do all that stuff. But my opinion, where you need to start is you need to decide, are you going to be standalone or are you trying to put back out onto the grid? Okay. If you're building from scratch and you want to be standalone, that tends to be, there's pros and cons both ways. But you have to know if you're going to be standalone or if you're putting back out on the grid before you can decide what type of items you need to buy or you want to buy. If you're going to be standalone, then you don't need the inverter that's going to put back out to the grid. So in my opinion, that saves you money in your purchase. But of course, that's my opinion, because my opinion is if you're getting solar, you need batteries. If you're getting solar and it's going to turn off when the grid goes down, then why are you going to have solar? That doesn't make any sense to me. However, you can offset your power, month by month and save money that way. You still have to use the grid at night, or you don't have any batteries, so you're still going to suffer if the grid's down. And that's the way, especially if the big companies come in and hook it up. That's how they hook it up. They don't want the I'm gonna say electrician, for lack of a better term right now, but they don't want them getting shocked out on the line because you're putting 3,000 kilowatts out onto the line, and they're trying to fix the lines and they're getting lit up by you because they know it's supposed to be dead, but it's back feeding from you to them. But there's ways to solve that. You need to know what you're doing and that kind of thing. So with that said, right now I'm building a standalone because I'm doing a enclosed trailer that's gonna be kind of like I'm gonna say a camper, but not really. I can take it to events, I can work from it, and that kind of thing. So standalone is the route that I'm going right now with the current build that I'm doing. Okay. When I do my house, originally I was going to be standalone, but there's going to be some more research. I need to call my power company and some different things like that, and set everything up with them and find out what the ins and outs are, and I'll be bringing videos on that. But right now I'm focusing on an enclosed trailer, building it to be self-contained, handle itself. I want to have a generator as backup. I want to have a landline or a shoreline so I can plug in. So if I'm home for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks until the next event, most events are just going to be weekends, but I can take that and plug it into a 30 amp at my house, and then use my house or the line or the power lines, whatever, to keep my batteries charged, run the heat and AC in it, because I'm gonna have equipment in there that cannot be getting too cold or too hot, and that kind of thing. And you'll see the way that I build it. I plan on building it, you know, pretty close to household standards, so I can do pretty much anything I want to do in there. So, you know, I've already ordered. They say it's going to be about a month before I get everything in. So right now I'm in the process of doing a build on the trailer, which I'm showing y'all. And, you know, the unit I purchased, it's 50 pounds. So I got to reinforce that front wall where I'm going to hang it and different things like that. But with that said, kind of back to the original point, if you're doing a standalone, then you can, and you know that's what you're doing. You're not putting back out on the grid trying to make money from selling power back to the electric company. Then that's when you can start looking at your different inverters and what you need. If you're doing something small like I am, maybe a small shop or a small, you know, enclosed trailer or that kind of thing, you know, there's like $600-700 inverters you can get that supply 110 power. They don't supply, you know, 2 legs of 110. They just supply 1. So if you wanted 2 legs, which would give you 220, then you'd need 2 of those inverters. Well, if you can buy 2 of those inverters, then you might as well buy the $1,500 one that already gives you that. And then you have to start looking at what requires batteries, how many batteries. You know, the $600, and I'm not positive on this because I don't think I was told, and I actually didn't look at it. I just saw it was a, you know, 120 volt standalone for like a little bit less than half the price of the bigger one that I was looking at. And you know, I was kind of like leaning that way, and then I did a little more research, and the big one actually uses less power in standby mode. So I think standby mode, meaning it's not converting anything, it's not doing anything, it's only using like 30 watts. The smaller one is using like 50 watts, and I think that's an hour, but that's, you know, that's standby mode. So if you're on batteries, do you want to be using 30 watts an hour when you're on standby mode, or do you want to be using 50 watts an hour when you're on standby mode? That makes a big difference. That shortens the lifespan of, I'll say the lifespan, the amount of battery power you have and how long it will run at night when you don't have solar. So in my opinion, it's less drain on the battery. Should make my batteries last longer because there's going to be less cycles I have to cycle my batteries, and therefore, you know, a 15-year battery, 10-15-year battery will change to like 20-30-year battery. You know, it'll last longer because it's cycling less. And of course, that's all dependent upon, you know, if you keep it in the temperature range it's supposed to be in, you don't discharge it past 80%, and that's 80% discharge. That leaves 20% battery left. You know, stuff like that. So if you build your battery bank and your usage compared to your battery bank, let's say it takes 3 days to drain your batteries before they need to be charged, then that would be 1 cycle every 3 days, as opposed to you draining them every day. So now that's 3 cycles in 3 days, and they're based off of 7,000 cycles, the ones that I'm looking at, which is still like 15 years. But you know, if you only drain it once every 3 days, you just tripled its lifespan. So technically they should last, what, 45 years or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So having extra battery is a good thing. I know the upfront cost sucks, but long term, you're expanding the life of your batteries. You're not working them as hard. You're not draining them as far down. They're lasting longer before they have to be recharged. If you end up with a snow day or bad storms for a week, you know, like if you're preparing for hurricanes, you know, if a hurricane comes through and you lose your 5 or 6 hours of peak sunlight that day that normally recharges your batteries and stuff, well, you still want to have enough battery to get you another day or two till the sun comes back out and it can charge everything back up for you. So it's all kind of playing. Of course, if you know that you're in that type of situation, you know to use less electricity. Maybe go turn some breakers off, go, you know, do this, do that, do the other to save electricity. So if your battery normally lasts you a day, you could turn it into 2 or 3 days, you know. Instead of firing up your 220 volt stove, you can cook with propane, or cook on the grill, or, you know, eat out of a can or something like that, and that's going to extend your battery life as well. So just a few things to look at and that kind of thing. And that's kind of where you need to start. You need to decide, you know, am I, according to what you're looking at doing, what you're trying to do, are you trying to put power back out on the line, or are you trying to be a standalone? You don't need the line anymore, that kind of thing. You don't need the grid, because that makes a big difference in what you're trying to purchase. And it may not change what you purchase, but that still needs to be where you need to start, because that limits some of your inverters and some of your different things. Some of them won't put power out, some of them will put power out. Some need batteries, some don't need batteries, that kind of thing. So just food for thought. I give you some information of kind of where I think you should start at. It doesn't mean you should start there. I think you should, because that's what you need to know. That's what you need to decide from the beginning. Because if you jump in and say I'm going to be standalone, and then, you know, halfway through your build, you're like, oh, I'd like to put power out on the line and get paid now, the inverters that you have may not be any good. You may have to buy new inverters. So, but again, with that said, and I don't know how long this is going to last, but right now Signature Solar is actually doing a trade-in. So if you have the EG4 6000, and you've had it for 6 months or whatever, and then you want to upgrade to the 18K, you can trade that in, and they'll discount your 18K. And I think it's according to how long you've had it, how many hours it's been running, that kind of thing. But they do have some type of trade-in, you know, program. So, you know, just trying to give you some food for thought there. That's something you may want to talk to them about and see, you know, if I change my mind in a year or 2 years, can I trade this in? You know, how long are y'all running that program? Is it just a trial period or what? Because that may change how you want to build your system too. You know, you may want to build 2 6000s with 2 batteries apiece, and then go to 118K, you know, that will handle what both of the 6000s were doing. And then you can, you know, the 6000s won't put out, but the 18K will put out onto the grid. You know, it's all custom to you. It really is. It's what you want, where you want to go with it, and that kind of thing. But I think having the baseline of where you're trying to go from the get-go is going to be your best bet to get you where you need to go the fastest and the least, you know, least cost. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope this helps y'all, and I'll do a video, I guess, looking at the different inverters, because I would think that's kind of where you need to go next. And then you can decide on your panels and or batteries, depending upon if you want those or not. And that may be, you know, come back to that beginning of, are you standalone? Are you not standalone? Are you trying to offset just your daytime usage enough that you don't have to pay nighttime usage? Or, or what. So a lot of things to think about, and I want to be able to walk y'all through those steps to help you make up your mind and that kind of thing. So before, I have done conversions, and I showed it on how to figure up your stuff a couple weeks back, how to figure up your usage and that kind of thing. And I'll do some more when we kind of get down to that. But anyway, just step-by-step walkthrough, my opinion of where you should start, and what you need to decide before you jump in with both feet. So do your own research. That's always important. Everybody's different, and you may want to do it differently. That's up to you. See y'all next time.